But that's cool. I don't like you hoes anymore. I'm just trying to suck. Now your girl, I know. Don't judge me. I don't give a fuck. Mom smoking the night. Where the fuck is Robo Bear? That's how we start off the lives. Where the fuck is Robo Bear? We can't start the show without Robo motherfucking Bear. Where you at? Milk. Get my book. Where's Robo Bear? Where's my note? What we doing? Girl, I be writing down so much stuff, it don't even make no sense. The medical apartheid, that's right. Medical apartheid, that's right, that's right. Yes, ma'am. Real talking healthy food in this milk book. Milk. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. That walk, it was something about that exercise today. It was something about that. It was so great. I did it twice too. I was like, they gonna have to wait. Because the way this belly set up, I'm gonna have to work it out 2 times. 2 times. Can y'all see me in the fade? I'm gonna wait for another Care Bear to pull up. I need another Care Bear to pull up. I just got in. I did my little miles. I'm good. That's why I'm late. So it was for a good reason. I'm gonna be up late. I already know. But I'm gonna figure this out. That's why I took some days off so I could figure out my shit. Map out my plans. You know what I'm saying? Robo Bear, what it do? What you doing? Trolling the internet streets? Okay. Man, I don't know how people go live and be go live on their Instagram and whatnot and be having I'm live and the police fucking with me now. If I went on my live talking about some police fucking with me now, I'll be a done data. Cause don't nobody ever come on my joint. Not anymore. They used to before I had that surgery last year. They was in here. They in here tough and strong, okay? But let me put this back on here. I'm gonna just talk to y'all like this for a sec. Y'all come bring your stupid ass to YouTube. Yeah, so we live on the YouTube. So let's get to it. I'm done playing games. Okay, so yesterday we had some technical ass difficulties. Right now I'm just walking myself out now while I could get myself together. Um so you'll be all right. And what happened? We was reading chapter 9. We learned about FK, who was injected with plutonium unknowingly. Um, he ended up escaping the hospital because they was trying to do some ill shit on him. And he wasn't going for it. He ended up dying of like heart disease. They tried to claim it didn't have nothing to do with the shot of plutonium, but it totally did. Then we started learning about Elmer Allen from the South. I think it was somewhere like the Carolinas or something. He ended up moving to California, living his dream, living his best life. Took him and his wife, had him some kids in beautiful sunny California. And not only that, he was in the Bay, West Coast, okay? And then he ended up he worked on trains and he ended up messing up his leg really, really bad. Um And just like, regular black folks, he was just like, don't trust them new niggas over there. And so with all of that, he ended up finally going to the hospital where they unknowingly injected him with plutonium. And he ended up getting his leg amputated so they could do an experiment on it, okay? To experiment the effects of the plutonium on his leg. He ended up having to move back to the South, the exact place he didn't want to be. And he ended up falling into an ill depression. He started drinking hella much, just all the depressing shit. Then he ended up being relegated as a mental illness person, a person who had, they said he had paranoid schizophrenia. And that's what broke me down because, I was reading it in real time, just learning about this guy, and it just really made me cry. At that point, all of a sudden, my good ass fucking internet, they're claiming it didn't work, and I lost connection with my life. And I was trying to fix it, and I couldn't get it fixed, and it was just all bad. But by day one, Care Bears, they stuck through it with me, came on over there with me to the Grand. We finished out part of the chapter. And so now we're going to start from that chapter. And we're going to also read chapter 10. So tonight, like, we going hard. Like, we going to be up kind of late-ish, because these chapters are long as fuck. And, that's just what time it is, So, yeah. So we're going to be on here for a little minute, though. And so I hope y'all ready. And so I'm gonna get my little Instagram cracking for the little teach so they can know what time it is. And I just got back from my walk. I wanted to start right away, but I was like, do I want to start right away or do I want to look good in a dress this summer? I want to look good in a dress this summer. So I was like, I'm going for this motherfucking walk. And that's what I did. And I'm glad I did because I got to get my vegetarian meatballs down to the Kroger. And I was like hyped, like, yes, because for a couple weeks they didn't have them, and I was grouchy because I've been wanting some spaghetti and shit. But I will be cooking per request from Andrea. I will be cooking. I'm gonna make some stuffed sweet potatoes. They're gonna be stuffed with kale, and I think I'm gonna put some mushrooms in it too. Um, I'm sorry, my allergies has been fucking with me. That's another reason why I came back from outside and it's about to rain. It felt like it's gonna rain hard. And so I hope you tune into that. But that's gonna be a regular upload like I used to do. I've been doing the lives because I couldn't figure out my computer, but I'm definitely gonna figure it out this weekend. And I'll have a cooking video for y'all on Saturday. I'm not sure what time because I gotta keep my nails together, and I'm gonna keep this nail appointment on deck. I almost feel like I don't need it, but I want to just stay ready. Um, I just want to keep my nails ready, it's my thing. It's just my thing. I don't know why, but it just is. Yo, on my Real Talking Healthy Food Instagram, they giving me the bootsy ass um little screen thingies that you can make yourself look cute on. Where are you? Instagram. I'm on the tube right now. I'm right here. I was just waiting for somebody to slide through. Tacos, don't start. Allergies is acting a whole fool. And I used to braid my hair, but I like my time a little bit more. So I'm kind of pampering myself a little bit here lately. So I'm going to get my edges rebraided tomorrow. Get my nails together first thing Saturday morning. And probably finish my meal prep. And while I finish my meal prep, I'll go ahead and do a video for y'all. So what I am going to record is I'm going to record the stuffed sweet potatoes on Saturday, okay? And so that should be a good video. Taco, Andrea said, hey, he in the window trying to taste something. And yeah. So I don't really know what time I'm gonna upload that. I really gotta figure out my computer, but I know it will be sometime early in the day. Um, and it goes to show proof that I'm right. So I don't know if I need to make like two separate channels, one for food, one just for like real talk, and I'm gonna do another one that's just like an extension of me, like maybe some like beauty shit, some like routines and stuff like that, because I gotta amp it up some kind of way. I really do, because they really hating on me like really, really tough. And it's just really becoming discouraging. So instead of talking about it, I'm going to be about it. That's why I got this early day so I could get the things that I normally do on a weekend done, and I could get to the business in my YouTube stream. So yeah, got my Bone Thugs on. Y'all gonna see this shirt all the time until I get a new one because it's Bone Thugs for life. But anyway, yeah, we got to get into this chapter. We got a whole lot to read. It's 7 o'clock. I really don't see us getting done till like 9:30, straight up. And then I gotta make something. I'm just hoping I could push and pump through here. I'm hoping Miss Harriet Washington is not being petty with all these extra ass words that she like to add in one sentence. Sorry I sound so dust because the allergies is kicking my ass. So y'all on the gram or whoever is gonna watch this on the gram, y'all come on over to YouTube, Real Talking Healthy Food. We off in chapter 9 and 10. We going hard today. So we going hard because YouTube was hating and they some bitches, but that's cool. I got Robo Bear, got Andrea, my little taco in the back. So y'all come over here, kick it with us. Bring your ass to class because you late. Okay, you ain't late. I'm late. I'll see y'all in a minute. Okay, because I need my phone. Ain't no telling what kind of words we gonna be running into with Miss Washington here. So what it do? I hope you're doing good because I feel like I'm doing great. Let me find a spot that don't look so bad, girl. When I don't got no makeup on, your girl be looking dry. So, okay, medical apartheid, chapter 9 and 10. Okay, 2 chapters tonight because we're going hard. And what I said that for, said all that for, is because when I did the Meghan Markle shit, why did I get 180 something views in 2.0? But when I be doing some trill shit, trying to put motherfuckers onto some healthy eats, or trying to get you to get your learn on, minimum views, 5, 10 views. But let me talk about Lil Boosie. Let me talk about Cardi. Let me talk about Megan. All these bitches that I really don't give a fuck about. 200, 800, 1,000. And don't let it be ratchet. Don't let it be ratchet. Don't let it be ratchet. Oh, bitch, I'm getting 19, 20,000 views. The proof is literally in the pudding. I mean, you could just go check out my other videos and you'll see it. Real shit, 20 something views. Ratchet shit, 2,000 views. Okay? So I think for a minute too, y'all, I'm just going to give you a heads up. I'm going to try my best to find something that I could actually pay attention to that is not ratchet shit. I mean, that is like ratchetry. And then I'm going to try to pay attention enough to review it. Okay. It's going to be difficult because I don't give a fuck about that. And my attention span on that kind of shit is the attention span of a flea. It's like, oh, this is stupid. I'm bored. And I'm on to something like more important. So I'm gonna do my best. I did the one more chance, and look what happened. Go to my videos, you'll see 1,000 views. I got 1,000 views on those one more chance reviews. 300, 400, just good ass numbers. You know what I'm saying? For the ratchet shit. Medical apartheid and reading the coldest winter ever. I got my core group with me. It's about 5 of us that are consistently here every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings reading together. But I'm not going to give up. I feel like those who can appreciate the kind of content that's true to my heart will be here. And I think I just need to give other extensions of myself so people could see that I'm here, because I speak a lot of truth to power. And when that happens, you're going to have the powers that shouldn't be against you. So, with all of that said, look forward to some shit that you're not really used to me talking about. Um, and don't judge me, because when I do, I always pull a lesson out of the ratchetry. So it's never just gonna be some ratchet ass shit, and I don't care about how I present my own self. No, we're gonna pull some real shit up out of that. So I'm kind of selective about what I talk about. I think the next thing, watch when I talk about the TI shit. That's going to be my first ratchet upload. Watch when I talk about that. Watch how much views comes on that fucking video. It's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 views. And I'm talking about ratchet shit. I don't give a fuck about TI and Tiny. I really don't. I don't. That was like my trapping days. Money, hoes, cars, and clothes. That's how all my niggas roll. Am I disappointed? Yes. But we're not going to talk about that now. Today, we talk about some important shit. We're talking about the medical apartheid. Because these chapters are about the experimentation on Black folks, okay? That's what we're talking about. How they were squeezing up these people with plutonium and lying to them about what was really happening to them. Okay. And poor Elmer Allen, who changed his whole life, got out the South in the 40s. This is the 40s. A Black man in the 40s made his way, jumping trains. Okay. Like, can you imagine? You're so desperate to get the fuck away from the South that you will hop in a train, ride that bitch to the next train to get to the West Coast. He ended up in the Bay. If you don't know, this says Californication. Has a lot of meaning. Um, I was born and raised in California. Hopping trains, made it to beautiful sunny ass California, just to end up being relegated as a schizophrenic, lost everything, lost his leg, okay, due to some experiments that these weirdos wanted to have on him. For those who's just coming back or who wasn't here yesterday, I ended up breaking down in YouTube, shut my shit down. So they tend to block me from live. So I'm lucky to be here today. So that's where we left off yesterday, is with Elmer Allen. Okay. It's such a tragically sad story. So before we get back into the chapter, what we do is we reread the chapter, we learn the history and discover how it affects us to this day, and how we could be proactive with making wise decisions with ourselves, knowing the history of these scientists and doctors, which for those who have been following along, hey, Taco, cool it. Those who've been following along from chapter 1, we've learned that um, a lot of the shit in the American Medical Association, is a lot of that, the diagnoses are made up and they've been exposed in this book. So now the part of the chapter that we're currently on now is called The Cleaning Light of Science. So I'm interested to see And then chapter 10, what we're going to read today, because we're still in chapter 9, chapter 10, which get your tissues ready, okay? It's called Cage Subjects Research on Black Prisoners. And if you decide to tune in with us next week, chapter 11, which we'll be reading on Wednesday, The Children's Crusade. Research targets young African Americans. So make sure you got your roll of toilet paper or your box of tissue or a long sleeve, because I know it's gonna be a tearjerker. I can feel it. The more we read, the more heartbreaking it becomes. So I'm very, very happy that all of y'all are here with me, straight up. Okay. So the first recorded Black victims of radiation experiments lived around the turn of the century, long before dropping the atomic bomb. Near the end of 1895, German physicist Wilhelm Conrad Roentgen discovered a magical light. Okay, what I'm recognizing also is a lot of the scientists and doctors, a lot of them come from that Eastern Europe area with the Germans and all of that. I don't know if y'all noticed it, but I definitely have. He found that passing electricity through special gases at a low pressure generated electromagnetic radiation with strange and powerful properties. The rays imparted fluorescence and enabled him to make images that rendered solid objects transparent. Alive to the let me get my thing, I'm losing my track. Alive to the rays, potential for seeing inside previously opaque objects. But I'm sorry, y'all. It's one of them days. Flummoxed by their mysterious nature, Roentgen resorted to calling them X-rays. Doctors found with delight that the X-rays could reveal all manner of skin blemishes, cancers, and even previously hidden internal problems. During the same period, physicians successfully experimented with radium for the purpose of healing. Radiation enjoyed a beneficent medical image, and scientists sought to seduce African Americans as well as whites with its powers to heal and to purify. Any doctor who wished to embrace the newest fad in medicine could advertise his radium or x ray treatments. And most of the doctors who did so treated patients in private clinics rather recklessly by our standards. They were initially unaware of later insufficiently concerned by dangers of repeatedly bombarding patients with high radiation doses. Patients were given, okay, let's see. Patients were given bits of radium in glass tubes to carry about with them so they could treat their own skin blemishes or superficial cancers. Physicians soon ventured beyond medical therapy to explore profitable cosmetic uses. And as early as 1900, doctors touted radiation to blacks as an escape into whiteness. A long-winded headline in the January 10th, 1904, New York American announced, "Hey, Papa, stop." New York American announced, this is the title, y'all, hella long. Burning out birthmarks, blemishes of the skin, and even turning a Negro white with the magic rays of radium, the new mystery of science. The New York Telegraph predicted all coons to look white. College professors have schemed to solve race problem. This is what they put in their fucking magazine, okay? All coons to look white. While the Boston Globe biblically mused, can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? Radium light turns Negro skin white. all invoke the cutting edge technology of scientific light to efface the dark disability of racial difference. And by every account, the Black experimental objects were not only willing but eager. However, the news accounts were sketchy and error ridden, and no accounts seem to have been recorded in scientific journals, nor were any follow up studies performed to track injuries. In 1904, an unnamed Black man named entered the Philadelphia offices of Dr. E. Elridge, asking to have a facial birthmark removed. The doctor told reporters that he successfully used a piece of radium in concert with x-rays to bleach the blemish. The inspiration struck. Why not continue the why not continue bleaching the man's skin until he achieved whiteness? After a month of daily treatments, Elrich claimed that half the man's skin was whitened and predicted he could be completely white within a month. Do you know what kind of damage that did to the skin? Like, really, I went to school for cosmetology. That is some that is the ultimate. My cousin's in here. Cuz tell them the kind of damage that this does to your motherfucking skin. She's in the medical field, okay? That will fuck you up. Hey everybody, thank you for signing through. It's about to get gully in here. Get your tissues, y'all. I'm just saying. This was a favorite biblical passage of scientific races who embraced it. Oh, wait, I skipped the whole part. Okay, so they thought he could be completely white within a month. Many newspapers joined the Boston Globe in citing Jeremiah 13:23. Can the Ethiopian change the skin or the leopard change his spots? Now, I feel like going over there and getting my Bible just to see what it actually says. This was the favorite biblical passage of scientific races who embraced it as a metaphor for immutably of racial characteristics. Reporters wondered at the scientists' achievement, even as they mocked the racial ambitions of the Black subjects. So here's something from the one of their articles. Excuse my allergies. Since the news of the marvelous operation on his colored patient has become public, Dr. Elrich has been besieged by Negroes who, oh my God, detest their natural color and wish to be changed to white men. Dusky mamas also have been imploring the doctor all day long to make their pickaninnies just like white children. Oh my God. Do you see how they wrote that? Just like white children. Disre motherfucking respectful. What y'all saying in here? Bone thugs for life. It says that doesn't mean what they thought though. Gotta go. All right, cuz love you. Um, so don't look at my edges. Doctors understood that such uh, irradiation was dangerous. Eldridge himself said, the danger of burning the skin of the patient being very great unless precautions are taken and the rays are allowed for only a short time to strike the spot to be treated. A January 10, 1904 news story in North American Philadelphia cataloged the dangers of X-ray bleaching. Damn, that's so ill. Even to this day, we have issues with skin bleaching all over different African countries and continents, right? Um, its headline read, and this is a lengthy one too. It is too dangerous. Skin burns, attempt to change color would be long and painful. University of Pennsylvania radiologist Dr. Henry K. Pankos also questioned its durability. When the skin would generate white, would it remain white? In 1908, the New York Times article White Negro in Paris report I just thought of Jay-Z and Kanye. I'm sorry. reported on a black who once ensconced in the City of Lights, arrived at the conclusion that the only beautiful people were those with white skins. The man went to Philadelphia for radium treatment, and once white enough, he returned to Paris. And here's an excerpt from that article. The man, however, had not reckoned with nature. He began to feel very uncomfortable, and then his skin began to change colors. In some places, it is gray, and in others, the gray is darkening into black. So that at the present moment, the Negro is full of con- oh my God, contrition for having tried to desert his race. That's what you get. You're black, fool. This melanin is a blessing. We are blessed. We are beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying it because I'm black. I'm just saying it in general. Like, it's amazing. I think that for us to come through such trials, such tribulations, and still thrive, and still in some kind of way we find the love for self. You know what I'm saying? Now we're re-emerging, wearing braids and afros and dreads and beads and dashikis, and giving praise to our ancestors, and being comfortable and bold and strong. You know what I'm saying? In our blackness, like we could wear our hair any kind of way we motherfucking want to wear our hair and slay the fuck out of it. We so ill. We so ill for black women. I'm gonna do it for Women's Month because I did a video about that. Women's Month did not derive from us. I did the research and everything. And for black women especially, we're so fucking ill that the white bitches want to be like us too. 10 short years ago, when I was shaking it up in the club for a dub, I was built. Big booty, big titties, no stomach. Now these white bitches is killing themselves to have these lips, these boobs, and this ass. That's how ill we are. They even get their nails done like ours. They get their hair braided like ours. They fucking their lips up trying to get them on swole like ours. You know what I'm saying? That's how ill we are. That's how resilient we are. I just felt so proud in that moment. I'm just saying. And it just is so ill how far we have come. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's to a point where if a black man or woman was to be like, oh yeah, I want to be lighter or whoop de whoop, we gonna be looking at them like, bitch, wait. Like, girl, dark skin is in. The fuck you talking about? You know? So I felt like I needed to say that. Um, Doctors had probably anticipated a brisk business in bleaching the skins of black with radiation, but the publication of its side effects squelched blacks' interest. Physicians were more successful with non Anglo Saxon European immigrants, to whom they offered radiation as a cure for another badge of ethnic inferiority: dark and coarse excess hair. Dark and coarse excess hair. Physicians charge enormous fees when they open x ray hair removal clinics with names such as, Hirsutic Laboratories. In the 1920s, advertisements in the lower middle class immigrant neighborhoods reassured the ambitious reassured the ambitious that freedom from unwanted hair opens the gates to social enjoyment that are forever closed to those afflicted. Because a lot of those fools, like the Italians, the Greece, the Mediterranean folks, they some hairy motherfuckers. Historian Rebecca Herzig has described how for Mediterranean, I know my shit, and Eastern European women, radiation was held out as a technology that would ease their entree into the impeccably white identity they desired by removing tall dark hair from their upper lips, chins, and lower arms. But instead of the hairless white skin, they develop radiation burns, cancers, and horrible disfigurement before suffering painful deaths. Damn. The resulting lawsuits spawned legal bans that eventually closed the clinics, and by 1970, researchers calculated that 30% of all women's cancers were traceable to X ray hair removal. These blacks and ethnic women suffered burns, cancer, discoloration, tissue loss, anemia, severe sores, scarring, and hair loss. Such conditions were recognized as radiation side effects that also struck researchers who work with X rays or unshielded tubes of radioactive substances. Researcher Clarence Madison Daly, who manipulated X rays in the Thomas Edison's laboratory, was the first U.S. researcher to die from radiation induced cancer. In 1904, in 1904. By 1911, more than 50 cases of X-ray induced cancer have been reported. The hands of Nobel laureate Marie Curie, the discoverer of radium, were chronically covered with burns well before her death of radiation-induced leukemia in 1934. That year, black radiologist Rudolph Fisher, MD, a Columbia University researcher and one of the luminaries of the Harlem Renaissance, also died of intestinal cancer caused by his work. By 1949, at least 65 American scientists had perished as a result of their work with X rays. No wonder how many technicians, janitors, and support staff died. Damn. Hold on, y'all. But some radiation workers served as canaries in the coal mine. After World War II, the disappointing side effects in bleached Negroes and the ugly deaths of the white radium girls hired in 1913 by factories such as the Radium Luminous Material Company to paint the dials of the luminous watches with radium 226 and the radium isotope mesothorium joined the carnage in the wake of Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, and the X-ray uh, abolition patrons to transform the public's image of X-rays and radium. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh my god. All right, girl. Don't no worries. Get your grub on. Once beneficial and therapeutic activity was now seen as a treacherously malevolent force. American distrust of the scientists who wielded radiation for deadly but profitable schemes was projected onto the plethora of popular science fiction films that portrayed radiation as the scientific catalyst of horrendous aberrations of nature. Scientists were characterized as willing to exploit radiation's unnatural power for twisted curiosity, wealth, or personal glory. I mean, that's facts, though. That's literally what they were doing. Even the popular meaning of the once neutral word mutation to denote a radiation triggered change in the tissue or genetics became malevolent. The white light of science had been sullied by bloody scandal, and when the government decided to test radiation on Americans after 1944, it chose to do so secretly. Let me get something to drink. A little of the Buchenwald touch. So this is going into the next part of the chapter. The United States also chose to seek Nazi expertise. What do I tell y'all all the time? That's how they brought those people in the Nazis over to America because America's thirst my burst. And they always like trying to be 20 steps ahead of motherfuckers and running things. And they bring them over here. Okay, so that's another video. You can watch that other video. In 1945, the U.S. State Department Army intelligence, and the OSS, the immediate forerunner of the CIA, recruited former Third Reich scientists, granting them immunity, jobs, and new identities in the resettlement program for the Nazi scientists. Oh my God. I talked about that in my Kanye West video when we were talking about MK Ultra. These are some weirdos, I'm telling y'all. It was named Operation Paperclip for the mode of identifying potential recruits. A simple paperclip placed on each of their um, dossiers. In exchange, the State Department asked that the scientists resume their old habits, working on secret, non consensual research projects, many of which exploited patients, but this time throughout the United States. Many scientists, from rocket pioneer Dr. Werner von Braun to former Gestapo chief Klaus Barbie, these names are hard for me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. The butcher of Lion entered the country under the aegis of Operation Paperclip. And then they also have Operation Artichoke, which turned into Operation MK Ultra. Between 1951 and 1956, for example, German physiologist and former Nazi Herbert Gernster supervised a total body irradiation. It starts with I, irradiation project of 263 cancer patients at MD Anderson Hospital for Cancer Research in Houston, courtesy of Operation Paperclip. Gernster irradiated the entire bodies of 30 hospitals, 263 patients, whose ethnicities were not specified. The irradiation destroyed their bone marrow, resulting in fatal anemia and other complications. The patients died rapidly, and the hospital abandoned the experimental approach. So they fucked them up and left them in the dust. I need tissue. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? Sorry, y'all, my allergies. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But maybe I won't sound so much like Lois now. I don't know. So they did it secretly. Okay. A little of the Buchan touch. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Approach. In 1950, memo to senior AEC staff, Dr. Joseph Hamilton, warned that the radioactive experimentation on the unwitting was unethical and illegal. A flouting of the recently adopted Nuremberg Code of 1947. Among, hold on, y'all. Among other tenets, the code required that all human subjects be fully informed of experiments conducted on them, that animal studies be done first, and that no tests be conducted that might harm human subjects. Hamilton warned that the public would be outraged to find American scientists engaged in the very research for which American military lawyers and physicians had condemned the Nazis. And immediately this would have a little of the Buchenwald touch. Via Operation Paperclip, the U.S. government supplied American hospitals and clinics with 700 Nazi scientists. Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that much. You good, Taco? Okay. Is it raining really bad? It's raining kind of bad. But we'll be all right. All right. All right. Taco is getting rained on. uh, da, 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 700 Nazi scientists. Because the scientists conducted so many, uh, ooh, I felt that drop. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Okay, there we go. disparate studies, all in secret. No racial breakdown of the Operation Paperclip subjects is possible. So they did it in secrecy. So they're not going to do it like they did it in Nazi Germany. They did the remix in America. By 1947, the AEC's Colonel E. Kirkpatrick expanded the radiation programs when he secretly ordered radioactive injections be given unsuspecting patients and institution inmates throughout America. But why, when the dangers of radiation were already widely known? My father, Elmer Allen, was injected with plutonium a year and 11 months after the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Why? Demands Elmerine Whitfield. You have people exposed to high doses of radiation there. Why study here? Scientists did learn much from wartime injuries, but many expressed a need for more precise quantitative understanding, which would allow researchers and military forces to avoid harm while working with radiation. However, the strongest clamor for the studies came from the military. Government scientists insisted that the detailed knowledge of radiation's dangers was necessary in order to protect soldiers who were thought to face radiation exposure from the Soviets. Robert Stone, for example, cited underwater atomic detonation of part as a part of Operation Crossroads in 1947. Ooh, never heard of that one. Operation Crossroads. Bum 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 bum. Okay, no. When radiologists could not reach a consensus about the exact radiation doses that would produce illness in the exposed humans, experimentation was necessary to settle these questions once and for all, and animal experiments were thought inadequate. As Lawrence Altman's fascinating book, Who's Who Goes First? The Story of Self-Experimentation in Medicine, documents, Western physicians have adhered to a long and noble tradition of following animal studies with limited self experimentation by researchers. The tradition may not always have been prudent, but by testing substances or produces on themselves before experimenting on the appreciable numbers of human subjects, doctors symbolically conveyed their belief that the measures were not inordinately harmful, and also signaled the researchers' willingness to share the risk as well as the glory of discovery. But in the 1940s, radiation researchers declined to experiment on themselves. Wright Langham observed, we considered doing such experiments at one time, but plutonium is considered to be sufficiently potentially dangerous to discourage our doing absorption experiments upon ourselves. These doctors needed human subjects, and they turned to the clinic out of habit. So they was like, fuck you, bitch. We need some of y'all. I'm sorry. They are fucking savages, straight up. But but by what ethical rules were the government scientists bound when exposing unwitting patients to dangerous radiation? Robert Stone, the same doctor who crowed about injecting the nigger truck driver, was a passionate advocate of human experiments, and he offered elegantly written set of ethical guidelines. He suggested that using only the moribund, the about to die people, prisoners serving life sentences, military personnel, and terminally ill cancer patients was morally acceptable. Wow, so you just lying to everybody. So, in hospitals, schools, and other institutions across the nation, doctor administered exposures to plutonium, X rays, gamma rays, and radium that far exceeded established tolerance limits. Each time, they claimed to be using subjects in Stone's categories. But as we have seen, Stone and others stretched his morally acceptable categories, casting Cade Allen, and other hardy but uninformed subjects as frail or terminally ill for the sake of convenience. In June 1947, the Medical Board of Review, a blue ribbon panel of Manhattan Project scientists and university faculty, convened to examine AEC research. It emerged 3 days later with the official AEC policy that offered extraordinary protections and was given the Committee on Biology and Science. No substance known to be or suspected of being poisonous or harmful could be utilized in research on human subjects unless each one of the following conditions were met. A. That a reasonable hope exists that the administration of such substance will improve the condition of the patients. B. That the patient gives his complete and informed consent in writing. And C. That the responsible next of kin give in writing a similarly complete and informed consent, revocable at any time during the course of treatment. Wow, okay. This document represented a quiet revolution in standards. It is the first occurrence of the term informed consent in ethical policy, which meant which meant it was now not enough to gain the assent of radiation subjects. They also had to understand clearly what they were being exposed to, and whether this application constituted treatment, research, or both. However, there is even more in the AEC policy. The requirement that the next of kin also give consent was truly progressive. It was important because many of the subjects were too desperate, too poorly educated, or too poorly informed to appreciate what their doctors proposed to do to them. Abusive experiments of post war era are often excused on the grounds that critiques are welding present day standards to judge decades old research. But this 1947 policy demonstrates that such abusive experiments were as normally acceptable or unacceptable in their time as they are in ours. Unfortunately, the sweeping protections of the AEC policy were not widely distributed, and the scientists routinely flouted their own policy. Stone and his colleagues cited military expediency. I'm saying that wrong. Expediency as a justification for involuntary medical experimentation. But with the exception of the AEC physician shields warned, they did not seem to realize that they were invoking the same justification that the Nazi doctors used in conscripting prisoners and concentration camp victims for horrific experimental exposures. Shields Warren, however, observed in 1950, it's not long since we got through trying Germans for doing exactly the same thing, right? In October 1952, the United States Air Force Military Personnel Center decided to adopt 10 rules of the Nuremberg Code on the advice of the Pentagon personnel lawyer Stephen S. Jackson. In 1955, Secretary of Defense Charles Wilson issued a memo that established the Nuremberg Code as Defense Department DoD policy. Wilson now required experimental subjects to sign an informed consent statement setting out the nature, duration, and purpose of the experiment, the method and means by which it was to be conducted, all inconveniences and hazards reasonably to be expected, and effects upon his health or person which may possibly come from his participation of the experiments. Why did that remind me of those commercials? Like, oh yeah, we could fix your uh your heartburn. May cause dizziness, fatigue, sleepiness. Your arm gonna fall off. Your eye gonna fall out. You gonna crash. You gonna die. But call 1-800. We'll fix you. Like, get the fuck out of here. Or like that new shit. What is that shit called? That new birth control? Flexi. That shit, it's a new birth control called Flexi, right? And you could squeeze it in you like a tampon. You just squeeze the shit in like a syringe, right? The bitch, what caught my attention, the bitch said it causes bacterial vaginosis. That's birth control enough. Don't nobody want no fishy ass coochie. Don't nobody want that. And you can put all the sprays, all the soaps you want. But once you penetrate and pull out, fish market. Fuck out of here. But despite the adoption of Nuremberg Code, scientists persisted. Oh, stinky coochie ass biatch. In approximately 50 experimental radiation abuses within hospital corridors from Los Angeles to Rochester, New York, so across the country, the Manhattan Project and the Atomic Energy Commission spearheaded research, some of which persisted through the 1970s. Between 1963 and 1971, a Dr. Heller irradiated the grounds of 131 prisoners in Oregon, including at least 66 Negro volunteers, with radioactive thiamine. Vanderbilt University physicians administered radioactive cocktails to pregnant women in Nashville. The University of Chicago fed the radioactive elements. Stro- I'm sorry, I'm rubbing my eye. Strontium and cesium to 102 unwitting patients at state schools. One Dickensian institution, the Fernald School in Walton, Massachusetts, added radioactive oatmeal to the menus of 30 orphans in a program sponsored by the AEC with the support of Quaker Oats. Quaker motherfucking Oats. Old videotapes revealed that some of these Fernald boys were African Americans, but no records with the racial identifiers were ever released. When victims died, government scientists obtained their bodies and autopsied them carefully, measuring the levels of radioactivity and biological damage to enable large numbers of these grim assessments. At least 15,000 bodies were exposed and collected for one project alone. Oh, here we go. Another project, y'all. Project Sunshine. This one was called Project Sunshine. Oh man, we got to research that one for sure. Project Sunshine. They was putting all these chemicals in the motherfucking oat and giving it to kids in orphanages. Until the middle 1980s, and without the knowledge of patients or their next of kin, this program shipped the bodies and body parts of radiation experiment victims to be dissected at headquarters in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Between 1960 and 1972, University of Cincinnati radiologist Eugene L. Sanger, MD, directed experimental high dose TBI on a total of 200 cancer patients. So they was killing them out. They go in there depending on these doctors, hoping that they would help them, and they killing them. And 150 were black. Oh shit. The TBI method was dangerous, utilizing magnavolt X-rays, cobalt 60 or cesium 137 to administer the equivalent of 15,000 chest X-rays to the entire body. Patients typically receive from 100 to 400 rads. A rad is a unit of absorbed radiation with complex definition. 150 rads, a common TBI dosage, is equivalent to 400 mammograms. Oh my God. 42% of the subjects given higher doses within weeks and some within days. However, A minority of the subjects received partial body radiation, which spared some portions of the body. When he proposed the experiments in the hope of funding and support from the Army Director of Nuclear Medicine in 1958, Sanger gave an experimental rationale explaining these studies are designed to obtain new information about the metabolic effects of total body and partial body irradiation so as to have a better understanding of the acute and subacute effects of irradiation in humans. He deemed such information necessary to allow scientists to protect military personnel who might be irradiated during a war. The Army agreed to fund his experiments, but expressed doubts because doctors already knew there were radiosensitive cancers which responded to radiation treatments. I'm sorry. And the radio resistant cancers, which typically did not. By 1940s, TBI was found effective against some radiosensitive cancers, but not against the localized radio-resistant cancers that Sanger studied. However, the subjects in Sanger's experiments, such as the 82 patients in Cincinnati's General Hospital, 51 of whom were Black, and told that the TBI was a treatment for their cancers. Wow. Just wow. Just fucking wow. Among their catastrophic effects, these high dosages destroyed the subject's bone marrow. And because the bone marrow produces red blood cells, the TBI proved quickly fatal to one out of every four subjects, who died within about a month after suffering anemia, vomiting, and falling white blood cell counts, which left them open to a variety of infections. If one also counts patients who have received PBI, 85% of the 100, excuse me, I'm sorry, 85 of the 111 people Sanger irradiated at Cincinnati General were Black. TBI experiments were also conducted by doctors at other Cincinnati's hospitals, at Sloan Kettering Memorial, I'm sorry, at Sloan Kettering Memorial Cancer Center in New York, at Texas, oh my God, this is getting on my nerves, Texas Baylor University College of Medicine, and the Naval Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland, and at the AEC Hospital in Oak Ridge. Only one of the administering physicians was an African American, Howard Perry, MD, who vigorously denied the experiments had any racial component. He died before this book was conceived, so I had no opportunity to interview him. However, his lawyer, Brian Hurley, wrote to Martha Stevens, I'm sorry, y'all author of the treatment, that Perry was a compassionate man who had been falsely accused of targeting other Blacks for radiation experiments. I mean, what the fuck else you gonna say? Other radiation scientists assailed the description given by Sanger and his deputy, Dr. Clarence Lushbaugh, of TBI for radio-resistant cancers as therapy, and insisted that his experiments were too dangerous. Carl Morgan, who had considered Sanger a friend and had worked with Lushbaugh at Oak Ridge, said in 1994, I think the case of Clarence Lushbaugh's treatment of humans as a guinea pig and Eugene Sanger's at the hospital in Cincinnati are some of the most terrible human studies I ever heard, other than those that took place in Germany and a few in Japan during the war. Wow, okay. That's ill. I wish these chapters were not so long. Sanger at first insisted to the AC interviewers in 1994 that the written informed consent had been unnecessary for his experiments. Later, Cincinnati Journal produced consent signatures for TBI subjects, but the subject survivors questioned them. For example, Gloria Nelson, the granddaughter of subject Amelia Jackson, pointed out that a signed consent form was produced for her from her grandmother's file, but that Jackson had never learned to read or write. Oh, you exposed, biatch. The Eugene Singer stated in a congressional hearings that race, IQ, or socioeconomic standing were not selection factors. Lies. That's a whole lie. Officially, he explained the racial disparity by saying that the experimental population merely reflected the racial component of the hospital populations where they worked. His testimony, however, is contradicted by his research partner, Clarence Lushbaugh, who explained in 1995 that they closed slum patients because these persons do not have any money and they're Black and they're poorly washed. These persons were available in the University of Cincinnati, the Sanger. I did not review what he was diagnosing or what he was doing, and I thought it was actually well done. In 1972, Sanger's TBI projects ended with the DoD cut funding for them, and after the university had accrued over more than $850,000, Sanger no longer referred to his work as an investigative. Oh, shit. Oh, y'all. Oh, y'all, I might have to come back. Somebody just hit my fucking roommate, y'all. Somebody just hit my fucking roommate, y'all. Yo, hey, yo, yo, um, oh shit. Shit. I don't know what the fuck to do. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. They just hit my fucking roommate. Uh, I don't know what to do. Just hold on. Hey, listen, I gotta come back later. I gotta see what's up with my neighbor, y'all. I don't know. I gotta check on this. This is like a fucking emergency, y'all. They just hit them. They're fucked up, yo. Um, I think I might gotta call somebody. I am so sorry, but is they didn't crash them, man, and they was just sitting there chilling. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I got to go. I got to go. Forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace. I gotta go. I'm sorry.